Oh, it's that way. So nothing scripted, of course. We're just working this out, but we left Sydney yesterday for the commencement of, well, this season, I guess. We're wondering what we're going to call it, but it's also an expat's journey. That sounds a little too cliche and not as important as what we think that we are doing, which we don't really know. We watched a movie on the plane yesterday. What was the Phantom of the Open, and I can't remember the actor's name. The guy out of Bridge of Spies. Must get his name because he's really good. He's been in a couple of movies that we've really enjoyed. But anyway, I wrote in my journal yesterday just this, thought of where he in this movie. So this actor who plays Maurice something or other. Flitcroft. Maurice Flitcroft. Morris, he calls himself, but it is Maurice, but Morris Flitcroft. And decides to become a professional golfer as he's losing his job at the Vickers shipyard, and enrolls himself in the British Open. So his name is Rylance Waters, and gets himself into the British Open quite innocently, as you've got to say that you are a professional and therefore you meet all the requirements. Of course, that's what he says. Well, I'm going to be doing this for a living, so he's a professional. And he's never played a round of golf in his life, and his first round of golf was in the British Open. He shot a 121, which I thought was actually quite impressive.
Better than me.
And of course he was found out as part of that, and long story short, the establishment tried to shut him down. He never got the ability to actually become a member at a club because the establishment were quite embarrassed by him and enrolling in and participating in the British Open. And he eventually played in a number of British Opens, but the point of the story, as I was kind of saying, is that he had an objective to just go and play in the British Open, but he became inspirational to a whole generation of people, and a golf club in the United States saw his first participation in the British Open and started an event in his name, which was just staggering. And he got invited back to the 10th anniversary of that event, and he didn't know anything about it, and they flew him and his wife across there first class, and he played in his own event. So it's just rather amazing that you do things for what you think is a reason, and then for quite not known reasons otherwise, you find out that you've been actually having some impact that you hadn't intended, and that's a bit of life, I think.
And in the movie, a young man spoke about how he'd stuffed up his last putt shot, and he was going to give up golf. And then he saw Morris Flitcroft on what should have been a birdie, then putt 4 more shots, which was absolutely terrible, which inspired him to go on. And that was meant to be Tiger Woods. And so Tiger Woods was going to give up, but then he saw someone who didn't give up, and he went on to become Tiger Woods that we know.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's interesting. Anyway, I'll just take a couple of things out of my journal. There were a couple of quotes that he mentioned in there that I thought were inspirational. But the point is, as I said, that you might be doing something, expecting an outcome and thinking that you're failing or not doing particularly well at all. And then you learn. So in this case, Morris Flitcroft learned that a particular golf club in the USA used his own difficulty and Morris's persistence as an example for others, and honoured him in having his own golf tournament named for 10 years, and that it inspired many, as Wendy said, ultimately Tiger Woods. Anyway, we never know what impact we have on people. The pundits had mostly ridiculed Morris, and that's something that we find in our own lives quite frequently. And I guess some people may be viewing our journey here to Hong Kong as, what the heck are you guys doing? Well, I think in life that's a question you ask quite frequently, and the reality is you never really know, and that's the beauty of it. So, we might be coming up to Hong Kong or Cathay Pacific for reasons of professional engagement, I guess, and stretching ourselves, and then again, we may never know. But the reality is that somewhere, somehow, you're going to have an impact on people, and you should always go into life knowing that. What the heck are I doing? Well, I really don't know, except that practice, so this was one of his quotes, practice, that is the road to perfection, regular practice, or words to that effect, he said. And so on that road journey context, there's a quote around the road less travelled, and I meant to write it down, but I just haven't had the time as yet. Around the road less travelled, and David Frost. No, his name is Robert Frost. He penned the quote, around the road less travelled. We've actually been to his grave in the United States, and that the road less travelled, and the notion that where a fork comes, which one do you take? Well, you take the road less travelled because it offers you challenges and it takes you to some amazing places, but it is hard work. And on that hard work, Bruce, my brother-in-law, gave me a quote yesterday. Thank you, Bruce, from John Lennon. And everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. So that's the end of today's quote. We'll post this unedited until we get used to it for the family. Love you all. We enjoyed our trip yesterday up here to Hong Kong. The view is, this is our view out the window. Oh, I can't see it on there. There we go. So that's the airport just over here to our left. Lots of work going on. Hong Kong is just over the mountains there. This is Tung Chung, immediately to our right, and we're in Cathay City right now. We enjoyed our journey up yesterday. Thank you, Cathay, for the journey up, and I start work tomorrow, and that's it for today.
Yay!
Right,
Live
signing
with
off.
Purpose
Passion.
and passion.
Yeah, okay.
It's like his.
Bye. Love you all.